Hey guys, Bam here. So yesterday I made a video about a strategy using sulfite with this scarab, sulfite scarab, and it was pretty good. It was actually higher than 20 divines per hour, but sadly, since it was so good and so easy to get into, all the the minor idols were off. So right now they're like, I'll show you. They're like a divine around the divine each. So yeah, I've decided this strategy was too good to pass on, and since now, as I said, they're super high priced, it's not actually worth to buy those. Well, it will be once you run like 2 or 3 times or something like that, but uh, yeah, it will take a while. So instead, what I figured I would do is go back to the drawing board and use the strategy, but on something else. And what I came up with is this. So again, we will be trying to get 100% chance to get an equal amount of Azurite as sulfite. If I can find the mod in here. Maybe I passed it. There's the double each, okay. Where is it? We'll find it. Okay, here. Sulfide veins and chests in your maps have 100% chance to also contain an equal amount of Azurite. As long as you have 100%, it's fine. So the way I made this one is it only requires the mod. So what's the mod exactly? It's sulfite veins and chests in your maps have 3 to 5% chance to have an equal amount of Azurite. Since we have destructive play in there, we need to get a total of 100 from 31 minor idols. But of course, we can add some stuff onto it, and also this is the minimum roll. So here I have a couple of 5% and some 4%, so I was able to fit some other stuff. Then we can add another suffix onto our minor idols. So instead of having a link into the description, this time I will just show you and then you can pick them yourself. If I leave a link into the description, what happens is that people just snipe them, and after a couple of hours or something, there's none with a decent price on the market. So yeah. As I said, the only mod that's really required is sulfite veins and chests in your maps have 3 to 5% chance to contain an equal amount of Azurite. And once you get to 100, you're set. But on my idols, I added some stuff. So, unique monsters in your maps have a chance to drop a scarabs. It's okay, but the most important part is this modifier map bosses increase chance to drop a Conqueror map. The reason why is that we're actually running destructive play, and we'll be using Conqueror maps. So we're trying to self-sustain. Of course, you cannot sustain unless you get a bunch of them, like on all of your minor idols. If not, you just have to buy on the trade website. They're pretty cheap this week, so don't worry about it. 10 to 15 chaos per. So that's it for the minor idols. As I said, you only need, again, 100% chance to contain equal amount as right, okay? Now, on and this destructive play. And then we'll be using, of course, the Maven influence on our maps to get the destructive play working. And aside of that, as I said, yeah, on the small ones, either you the scarabs or whatever. Here we have chance to drop a Conqueror map, but you don't need it. It just adds to your profit. But if you're super broke or if they're none on the market right now, just don't worry about it and only pick up these sulfide veins and chests in your map percentages to also contain equal amount of Azurite. Alright. Shit. My bad. I forgot to put D&D on. Alright. Next, we have 2x1s. So those this was actually a mistake, and if you're running the other strategy, you should actually replace the 1x3 by those instead. So where it says voltaic sulfide veins and chests in your maps contain 8 to 10% increased sulfide, is actually better if it's a standalone than doubling, because doubling is just percentage of chance, but it's lower. If you mix and match, you want to have a bit of both, because at some point there are some diminishing returns if you stack a bunch of this modifier, then the double one will be better, right? So yeah, so that's it. But yeah, on average, this is better. So I have, and the other mod I put on it is actually movement speed per stack of sulfite intoxication. I don't move a lot. I mainly use the whirling blades. So for me personally, it's not the best, but I figured it would be a good mod to show you guys. So I have two of those, and on the other one, also have movement speed again. Hey guys, but this is Bam from post production. So I just forgot to mention that on the 2x1 idols, it's actually good for this strategy if you get some of the mods that says final boss in each map has a 1.8 to 2.4 chance to drop either a shaper, an elder, guardian map, or a synthesized map. So I just forgot to mention it, but yeah, this is another mod you can add onto your idols. By the way, it's super cool because this is a prefix, and normally most of the stuff you want on your idols are suffixes. So yeah. Alright, now let's get back to the video. And then I have a 1x3. And this is a mod I went over because I have a lot of damage, but I think it can help a lot of people. So we have increased damage per stack of sulfite intoxication. So if you're having problems with your damage, you can add this to the 1x3. And the cool thing about this is that since we're running Conqueror maps, sometimes the bosses can get pretty crazy. So yeah, it will help a lot. So with all that being said, let's just run a map and I'll show you how it works. So we pick up any maps. Personally, I can run any mods, but if not, just ID them and reroll them if it's needed. The cool thing about this too is that all the Conqueror maps drops with quality on them, so you don't have to chisel them. It's between 15 to 20% quality, I think. And yeah, so again, it's one less step to do. You don't have to quality your maps. And yeah, that's it. The only thing we need, again, the same scarab, sulfite scarab, and pretty much the same way we run the maps. We try to get the veins, kill the boss, then we actually go into the Conqueror portal boss and kill that boss too. By the way, there's also a mod that gives you resistance whenever you pick up your sulfite. You can get that too if you're struggling. It's to the maximum resistance, elemental resistance. So it can be pretty good. Just have to find the last one. Here it is. And yeah, that's it. Now, I'll actually use this. I love this, even though I never got anything big, right? Yeah, both were kind of crappy, but who cares? I love gimbals in general. This is the gimbal, a free gimbal if you want. Cool thing about this is you will get a lot of what do you call it, idols with this, so you can actually feed other shots. And there we go. You don't have to do delirium, you can just bypass it. Usually it's not worth it, so that's it for the simple map. So here's an invitation, as it will come every 4 Conqueror maps. But yeah, this is a good chunk of the profit, but the yeah, you need some damage and you need to have a pretty tanky build to do this. So it's not as easy as the other setup, but yeah, See, I just died, so yeah, that's because I'm a noob though. You're probably better than I am. I just stood there again. But yeah, you get the idea, right? Almost died again. And yeah, you can see sometimes you will get exalted orbs, and of course, always some crescent splinters. And again, it drops a lot of idols. So pretty straightforward. As you can see, it takes a while because Conquerors actually takes a while to spawn and everything. So it's a bit longer, but it can be done in a minute and like 15 seconds or something like that. It depends on the map. It depends on a bunch of stuff, of course. But yeah. Um, Other than that, what I wanted to share with you is that you can change the strategy a lot depending on what are the price of the idols. So one scarab that no, not scarab, not one idol I actually didn't use is this one. So I was using it at first, but uh, I stopped using it. The reason why is that I'm not using June at all, and yeah, it was a bit like Luster. But if you look at this, what happened is I pretty much level all my safe houses through this. And the reason why is that every single map I complete gives me 13 intelligence to a random immortal syndicate safe house. So this is something you can add onto your maps, and if you want, you can also add June. So yeah, and on the minor idols, remember those, you can add a mod that says 50 up to 50%. I think the roll is like between 40 to 60%. So as long as you have two of them and a total of 100%, chance to upgrade the level of the syndicate members. So you will, whenever you level it by one, you actually level it by two. So this is something you can add onto your strategy. As I said, there's a lot of room for it. And the other thing is the scarabs found in your maps are more likely to be less common rarities. So this can help if you have a bunch of modifier like I have. Let me check here. Shooting monster in your maps have increased chance to drop scarabs. So if you have the less common, you have more chances at getting actually scarabs worth something. But yeah, it wasn't too good, so I just cut it out. And here we have another movement speed. Yeah, I talked about it already. So yeah, that's it for the strategy. If you want, I prefer running this on Conqueror maps, but you can actually use it on Shaper or Elder maps. It's fine too. The biggest downside to it, especially for the Elder maps, is that it takes forever since they have 3 phases and stuff like that. It's pretty annoying, but it could be it could be worked. This is pretty cool, but the Chimera takes a while unless you have a huge AoE and can actually kill the mobs coming from the sides instantly. It has a bunch of phases again, and it's annoying. But the 3 other ones are pretty straightforward. Yeah. Aside of that, once you use Maven, you will get a Maven Witness, and when you're doing Crusader maps, you actually get Witness for the 10 maps, the normal maps, and also for the Crusader one. So here, as you can see, I did Baron, so I have a Crusader, and then you can run an invitation. And actually, the invitation, if you can do it right, it drops a lot of stuff. It can drop you some of the exalted orbs, so the influencing exalted orbs that are all higher than a divine each, and some I forgot what it's called. Just check some fragments, the crescent splinters. All the time they will always drop, but the Maven Rit's not worth a lot right now, so but it's still something. And also it can drop you some awakened gems, but not the super high ones. But still, it's something. The last thing I can drop you is actually some of those Maven chisels. So most of them are pretty bad. This one is like worth pretty much nothing. This one is worth like 50 chaos. This one is close to a divine each. 2 for 3. Sorry, 3 for 2 divines. And that other one is like 20, 15, 20 chaos, and this one is worth pretty much nothing. But yeah, this is something you can get. You can get a bunch of Orb of Conflict too. So yeah, there's a lot of random stuff that can drop from the invitation. So it's kind of cool. It adds up. And the other thing from this strategy that's super cool is it drops a bunch of idols. Since you're killing so many unique monsters, all unique monsters have a higher chance of dropping idols, so you will get a lot of idols. So I would say it's actually less than 20 divines from doing this, and the other one was 20 divines and up. But this one is actually less rewarding, but if you get any good idols, you can actually make bank. So I happen to get one of the idols that have a chance to spawn exiles, and I got a 10% chance to spawn 12%. No, yes, 10% chance to spawn 12 exiles. That also for 55 divines. So yeah, but I didn't take it into account because it's super random. But you have to you have to check your idols. Sometimes they are crazy. Alright, now if you want a lighter version of this, which is skipping the Conqueror maps, you can actually do this by just using the exact same strategy, all the same idols, everything. Maven, again, the same thing, but instead of using Conqueror map, you just use a random map. So here we'll do a bug map, and it's pretty much the same thing. You collect the Azurite and then rush to the boss, kill the bosses, because there will be multiple, of course, because of the destructive play. I'll just do a quick map. And if you want, you can actually skip the third one. Because I didn't find it, but yeah, and that's it. And you could be out of it and go on to your next map. But I'll actually find the third is the right for this. Here we go, and then we're out. That's it. So if you do this, it's actually faster, as you can see, 36 seconds. Sometimes maybe a bit more, depending on your build, but yeah. Same thing, you get most of your profit from Azurite doing this, because you're not getting any of the Conqueror stuff, but you still get more bosses, so more chances at getting Conqueror maps and stuff like that. Alright, so this is pretty much it for the strategy. There's two versions, as I said. The Lite one that only uses random maps, and you'll be fine. And the Conqueror maps, which will give you more currency. But yeah. Hopefully this redeemed myself from breaking the economy of the idols for the previous video. This one is much easier to get access to because we only need one mod on those minor idols. Well, yeah, hopefully this one will not affect the market as much, and if it does, well, you're still farming a bunch of maps, so you get a bunch of minor idols, and that modifier is pretty common, and it's not in high demand aside of people who are running this exact strategy. So yeah, I didn't mean to break the economy, but it happens sometimes, and yeah. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, consider subscribing to the channel, and as always, take care, guys.